Many things to discuss, and a happy new year to everyone. And as always, I really appreciate all the support throughout the years. The support is amazing. It really is. It really is consistent. The support that I've had all throughout the years, and those of you that have supported me in the channel, and also supported this platform, you're really appreciated. It means a lot. So, lots to discuss today. Today, I will be teaching you and explaining how to how to build confidence when you have anxiety, how to turn anxiety into confidence. Um, what's happening, Christopher? Mate, happy New Year. How to face your emotions, and all these things go together. These are all the fears that I had. These are the fears that I still have. Some of them I've overcome, some of them I have to work through, and these are the fears that I help my clients to overcome and people that follow me on YouTube. Anybody, I'll help. Listen, if people are friendly, if they're kind, or if they're not kind but they're trying to be better and they come on my channel, I'm going to help them regardless, because these videos are for anyone who wants to improve. Obviously, predominantly, I coach men, but I'll also, if women come on this channel, great, they're going to get help, and a lot of women do benefit from my teaching, because women write to me, they send me messages thanking me. So I really do appreciate that. Happy New Year, Jonathan, viewers. I appreciate that, man. Awesome. Hopefully today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and do the live stream without the laptop, because it gets in the way. I'm just going to try and do the best we can to use the phone, because I've had a couple of challenges with the questions. When you post the questions on the phone, they come up quick, they disappear. But so far it's so good. So yeah, let's just see how this shapes up. I'm going to answer questions as well. Had a really good day today. I'm going to socialize and make new friends and see where it goes from there. Yeah, that's great. I think that's a huge part of what we're going to talk about today, that I've realized. I'm working with people all the time, and it's something that I'm learning, and it can't be underlooked, and that's the power of socializing. That's a big part of today. So the reason why I've titled this video Confidence, Anxiety and Emotions, because, let me just make a point of saying this. I thought about this when I was in the gym today. Everyone has anxiety who's human. Everybody on planet Earth suffers with anxiety, right? But I want to make a distinction. But of course, there's some people who have worse anxieties. I'll put my hand up. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm one of them. The anxiety that I had growing up was a lot more stronger than the average person, which is why you could call it an anxiety disorder. But the good news is, if you're willing to be brave and you're willing to face it, you can achieve anything you want in your life. And that's really my testimony. My story is to say to people that I became very successful in my life. And I know success is a big word, but I'll explain that. Despite not without having anxiety, but with it, I learned how to use it and make it my best friend. And it's a continuous process. So my story is to tell other people who have social anxiety, who suffer with an anxiety disorder, who have depression, which is part of anxiety, who have negative thoughts, who suffer with overthinking, paranoid thinking. My message and my story is to speak to those people and say, look, I have exactly the same problem that you do, but I chose to do something about it, and it changed my life. It helped me to make money. It helped me to get a girlfriend. It helped me to go on many dates. It helped me to do public speaking. It helped me to get on better with people. It helped me to travel. It helped me to just expand outside of my limited, small, miserable, monotonous, depressing life many years ago. And it has been a continuous journey for more than a decade now. Actually, what am I talking about? It's not far off being 20 years that I've been on this journey, a little bit less than that. So it will be coming to 2 decades, probably a couple more years' time. So I've learned loads in the process, and I've got a lot to share. But that's a big part of my message to people on this channel. I want people to know that. I want people to know that when they see someone like myself It's very easy to think that I don't, you can't relate to me, and the things you can, I do have it. I just have learned how to work with it and move forward, and that's such a good truth. That's the difference between living a great life. So what I'm basically trying to say is, just because you have anxiety doesn't mean you can't live a successful life. I'm doing it. I'm proof. It's not easy. I'm not going to lie. It is. It's really challenging at times, but it's not challenging all the time, and it's worth it. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, the life that you can live, if you're willing to take action and follow the teaching that I learned through my own life experience. And I've been teaching. Now I've been teaching clients now for 10 years. 10 years, clients all around the world, in person, on Zoom, in groups, and it's getting great results. I think one of the biggest things, biggest battles that people have. I was thinking about this recently, and I know it was my biggest battle, and I know that I'll inspire a lot. The biggest challenge for men before we do anything is to admit it, and it was hard for me for many years. I was scared to admit it because I thought if I admit it, everyone's going to judge me. I'm going to feel ashamed, and they're going to look down on me, and it's going to cause me to be rejected by everyone. But it wasn't true. It was completely the opposite. When I had the courage to admit it and say, I have a problem, I suffer with anxiety, social anxiety, life anxiety, I have some mental health challenges, literally felt liberated. And then I could build confidence from that place. And what you realize is, well, there's two things that are true. Everyone's going to judge you. That's human nature to a certain degree, but it doesn't matter. But there's many people out there that are, so many good people that they're not judgmental in that vicious way. They're compassionate. They respect you. And I know that deep down that, you might not like someone, you might not understand them, but you will respect them. There's something intrinsic about honesty, about courage, especially when we admit our deepest fears. So once I was able to do that and come to terms with it and accept it and love myself despite the anxiety disorder, the confidence that I got from that alone. So that's where we can start already. And I'm not just saying this because my clients work with me and they pay me money, and my programs are expensive, and I don't apologize for that because the value that I offer isn't cheap. They're brilliant people because they already do that bit right. They have the guts to reach out and get help and write to me and say, I have anxiety, I have issues, I have fears, and I want to change. That's amazing. That's the first step to any transformation. If you can't admit that you've got a problem, then you're never going to solve it. The denial is going to keep the problem going. So it does take a lot of courage, but once when you keep doing it, it just gets easier. So that's why it's easy for me to talk about these personal, intimate things that I suffer with, because I don't care what anybody thinks, because I've built confidence, happiness, I'm living my purpose, and I've gone past that point, I've gone past that point of what they think. It doesn't matter to me, whatever they think, because I love what I do, and I like growing, and I like being honest and vulnerable. So I don't care what they think. I care what I think. So this is kind of a message to anyone who is in that place. And if you just look at all successful people, I'm just going to mention a few names. David Goggins. David Goggins is where he is because he's honest. He doesn't care about what people think. That's why he's rich. That's why he's in great shape. That's why he's happy. That's why he continues to challenge himself, and that's why I love him. I respect him, and he's helped me. That's amazing. You're getting more confident when playing drums. You can imagine how good that is. Music. You're doing well, Chris. You've made a lot of progress, especially since COVID. From what I can see, the amount of socializing that you've been doing and fear that you've been facing. So that's great. You should be proud of yourself. Keep going. So David Goggins doesn't care about what people think. That's why he is where he is. So that's one of the ways that you get over it. Because it's like, test the waters. Those fears that imprison so many people, those demons that they deal with. I had them. I know what it's like, and I know how to get past them. What's up, Frank? It's been great, man. I'm sure that you had a good New Year as well. And I said it before, I was great to see you at my event, and I enjoyed our conversation. It was fun. So, yeah, and I think, you know, good people always help you to overcome the fear of what people think, because really it's never really good people that are going to be judgmental, you know, especially to something like anxiety, mental health, because they're not nasty people, they're compassionate. So, you know, this is one of the big steps in the right direction, that you must take at some point if you want to live your dreams. So, let me share this. So the next part with turning anxiety into confidence is simple, but it's challenging to do it. And that's to write down one of your fears, or pick out one of the things that make you anxious, where you're nervous, and go and face it. So, for example, a lot of clients I work with will say they're really anxious, they're really socially nervous and anxious about going to a party, and they, you know, they are scared about that. They're nervous about being in a room full of people or party, because they feel self-conscious, they feel judged, they feel uncomfortable. So if you want to turn that anxiety into confidence, you know, and you want to grow as a person, then the best thing you can do is go to the party and suffer the consequences of facing the fear, and you'll go to another level. You know, it won't be comfortable at the start. It's not supposed to be. Turning anxiety into confidence is not supposed to be comfortable, even though the human mind can't fathom that. It doesn't like that. But the truth is, it's not comfortable. But the positive thing is, the great news is, it will get comfortable later on once you face it. So the idea is, you're comfortable now because you're at home, you're safe, you're not in social situations. You switch the mindset and you say, right, I'm afraid to go to a party because people are going to be there and it's going to make me feel anxious. You go to the party, you walk in, you accept what's going to come up. You're nervous, you're scared to make eye contact, you feel self-conscious, you're overthinking about what to say, you don't know how to start conversations, you feel out of place. You sit in it, you accept it. Even though you don't like it, you sit in it, you suffer it. And guess what happens? You know, you go home after, and it may take a couple of days for it to kick in. You've grown as a person. Even if you said to me, I went to a party, I didn't speak to one person, I felt awkward, I felt out of place, I just stood there, and everyone was socializing. That's still growth, that's success. Why? Because you took the action, you faced the fear, you didn't avoid it, you didn't run from it, you didn't hide from it. You know, you didn't use alcohol to mask the pain and to give you false courage. You went there. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a couple of drinks, but what I'm saying, facing the fear without drugs and alcohol, sober, clean, feeling the emotions, facing it, accepting that you don't like how it feels, but still standing there. That's success. That's my definition of success in this area. That's what I've done. That's what changed my life. And many years ago, no one in society, I'm not saying no one, but society as a whole wasn't telling me this, didn't want me to, it's what it felt like. I'm not saying everybody didn't want to tell me it, but it wasn't public. It wasn't common knowledge. I had anxiety, I was suffering, I was struggling, I was feeling terrible every day. I couldn't get out, I couldn't meet people, I couldn't do new things. I was trapped in my fears and my insecurities, and I was ashamed of anxiety. I was ashamed of these feelings, but I didn't know there was nothing to be ashamed of. It's human. Everybody feels these feelings. Some people are honest about it. Some people don't have the courage to admit it. They're in denial, or they're ashamed. They're so afraid of public opinion that they won't talk about it. I understand that. So I had to figure out for myself. And obviously, I didn't just do it alone. Listening to Les Brown inspired me, educated me, and confirmed that my instincts are right. Yeah. Yeah, Chris, that's exactly it. Well, you've experienced it. So, you know for yourself how it feels. Salsa's brilliant. Going to a salsa place for any guy who suffers with social anxiety or is just nervous, or any guy or any woman, fantastic. It's all about being in the arena. Most people in life, most people in society, the whole society we live in today, they don't want to be in the arena. They want to be in the books, safe, protected, defense mechanisms, intellectualizing things, being an intellectual coward. They don't want to be in the arena because they know that in the arena it's uncomfortable. Suffering comes up, the mind comes up, emotions come up, feelings of I'm not good enough, people are judging me. They don't want to go to that place. But successful people, my clients who are hungry, a lot of you that are hungry and you want this bad, you go to the arena because it's only in the arena that you're going to gain confidence. You can't gain confidence by reading books. If you could gain confidence by reading books, then no one would need to go in the arena. Everybody would just read books and be skinny and rich, but it doesn't work. And most people in society are not honest about it. I tried the books, it don't work. So when I coach people and they do my 10K 1 year program or 2K 6 weeks program or a weekend program or just a 2 hour session, I tell them the truth. I don't lie to my clients. I don't need to lie to them because I have the truth in this area and it's beautiful and it works and I want to help them. I care about them. So I say to them, look, it's up to you. You can read the books, but it's not gonna fix you. I know what's going to help you. You have to be in the arena. And some of you might be saying, what's Jonathan talking about? What's the arena? The arena is in reality, in real situations that frighten you. I think I've got a question from Sam there. Is that Sam? What if I embarrass myself? Good question, Sam. Well, that would be the best thing that could ever happen to you. I'm not saying that to be patronizing. You've got to face that, Sam. Because if you don't go through situations and get embarrassed, then you're not going to come out the other side. What's the opposite of embarrassment? There's not an exact dictionary definition, but the opposite of embarrassment is securing oneself, is being confident, is not caring what people think. But to get to that point, we got to work through embarrassment. The first public talk that I done in London, I was embarrassed. I got nervous. It was the first time that I'd given a public talk since being in school. And I went out and I hired a room in Covent Garden. It was when I first started being a dating coach, and a lovely group of people turned up. And I was terrified. I got overwhelmed. I didn't have the experience, and I was so embarrassed. I was ashamed. But the great news is I didn't let it break me. After the talk, people still appreciated me because they liked that I tried. They could see that I've got a good heart. I'm trying. And I said, you know what? I'm not giving up. So I went and done another talk the week later, and I was nervous at that one. I done 10 talks and I became confident at public speaking. So you got to go through these things and you've got to grow through them. And these are, in society, we live in a culture. We live in a society that always wants to be polite. And it doesn't really want to say the truth, because the truth is usually what people don't want to hear. Unless you're me, I want to hear the truth. And maybe many other people that are truth seekers, So it glosses things over. And of course, look, I don't want any of you to be embarrassed. I don't want anyone to feel like that. And I don't want to be embarrassed. And I don't want you to suffer. But the reality is, you're going to have to get a little bit embarrassed here and there if you want to be successful. You're going to have to work through that. Otherwise, you're just going to stay where you are. And obviously, if you want to stay where you are, then you're entitled to do that. That's your human right. I sound like Tony Montana, but that's your choice. But for those of you that don't want that, and you want to live a better life, and you want to move forward, and you want to be confident, then you're going to need to take my advice. And it'll be the best thing that you've ever done. So it's all about the exposure therapy. So like I said, wherever you're scared, you must go. Wherever you're scared. And it's for people, it's always the same fears usually. It's social situations. It's phone calls, it's public speaking, it's first dates, it's job interviews, it's events, it's meetups, it's salsa, it's the gym. I had fears in all these areas. I conquered it by facing them. So I'll teach you more stuff today. I'm going to share my story and I'm going to ask you a question. So guys, you can You can interrupt me anytime, and I will do the best I can to answer your question whilst I continue to tell my story. So, back to the beginning, as far as I can take you. I'm going to take you back to the time when I lived in Fulham Broadway. I had absolutely crippling social anxiety. I could hardly come out of the house. I couldn't look people in the eye. I couldn't do public speaking. I couldn't go on dates. I couldn't work. I literally was in a living hell. I was existing every day, but I was dying inside. I was terrified of people. I was terrified of shame. I was terrified of getting awkward. So I basically locked myself up in a small apartment. And the only time I came out was to get some food takeaway. And even that was a struggle. Or to get the bus and go down, and stay with my nan, who I loved, or go and see my family, or occasionally some close friends. But other than that, I lived in a small bubble. And I didn't come out of it because I was so frightened of being judged. I was terrified of being uncomfortable around people and discomfort and all that kind of stuff. So I had to get to a point where I was literally contemplating killing myself. And that wasn't a nice place to be. I didn't feel comfortable. Luckily, I didn't have the courage to end my life. And faith, I've always believed in God. I've always believed in Jesus. And obviously, I'm lucky that I got a good family and I had some good friends, but it didn't make it easy. So I listened to a message from Les Brown, and it made me cry. It inspired me, it made me feel better about what I was going through. And I made a decision, I made a commitment, and I meant it. And I cried. The cry was a relief. And I said to myself, I'm not having this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't really care anymore. I don't really care if I live or die. I didn't mean it literally. I don't care anymore what people think. I'm going out and I'm facing these social fears. I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this. It's too painful. Panic attacks every morning, bad thoughts, paranoia, hardly had any money, couldn't really feel any connections with people, didn't feel comfortable, was scared every day, was scared every night. I literally was suffering. And I just said, can't do it. And that's when I felt a relief. So obviously it was a gradual process. And I systematically started to confront my fears. And one of the first fears I remember I had was I was scared to go to the gym. Scared to go to the gym and work out in case people laughed at me, in case I got bullied, in case other guys looked at me and thought that I was skinny, I was weak. In case someone started a conversation with me in the gym and I got awkward, I was overthinking. I was scared. What if this happens? What if that happens? And growing up, my father was into fitness. He made me do some training, which I loved. I loved Bruce Lee growing up, Van Damme, same as all you guys, all my clients. So going to the gym for me was a big deal. So I'd done that. I went to the gym. I started lifting dumbbells, lifting weights, and I loved it. I felt great about myself. So that gave me a little bit more confidence. And it took time. I had to keep going to the gym. These anxieties that I had, they didn't just go straight away. It was a process. I had to keep going through that feeling of being uncomfortable and walking in the gym and thinking, oh my God, everybody's staring at me. What are they thinking about me? Or can they see all my issues? I had to go through that. I had to keep working at that. That's amazing. Well, the progress that you've made, Chris, is a huge for the last couple of years. Like I'm over the moon for you. That's great. I mean, I remember you saying that you were having challenges and struggles to get a match, and look at the rewards. You deserve it. That's what happens when you work hard and you're a good person. So, it gave me some confidence going to the gym, and it took away the suicidal thoughts, because it was like, now I don't want to kill myself. I want to keep going gym. Like, I just love training. So you're kind of killing two birds in one stone. Number one, you're going in the gym, you're getting fitter, you're building your body up. It makes you feel good. Number two, I was conquering that social anxiety in the gym. So that was the first fear I faced. Then I realized that I had a fear of going down to the boxing gym. I was afraid in case I got beaten up and embarrassed and humiliated and made to feel weak and not a man and demasculated. I had a huge fear about that. I was afraid that they were going to think I was weird in the gym. That was strange because I was nervous, I was awkward. I had all that paranoia. I was afraid of sparring. So I went and faced it. I met a really nice guy down the weightlifting gym, I told this story before. I didn't know that he was famous. You know, he was a journalist, an ex-professional boxer. He liked me as obviously as a friend, and he saw me working out on the bag, and he said, you know, you got some ability. Do you want me to take you down to my old amateur gym in South London, Fitzroy Lodge? I was like, yeah, I'd love to come. I was nervous, but I came. He introduced me. I was 20 years of age, 20. I was shy, nervous, really, really, you know, quiet. But I went down the gym. I joined. Man, it gave me confidence. You know, it helped me to stop taking drugs in my 20s. It helped me to stop drinking, hanging out, getting into fights. It helped me to change my life, get on a positive path. So boxing gave me more confidence. It taught me self-defense. It helped me to get over that fear of, you know, someone trying to bully me or beat me up. Gave me a lot of self-respect. So the confidence that I got from going to the weightlifting gym gave me the confidence to go to the boxing gym. Now it was time to move on to my other fears, which were talking to women and asking women out. I was terrified, petrified of women, petrified of rejection, of getting awkward, of feeling ugly, unattractive. So I started practicing speaking to women. First I tried online dating, didn't work for me. Nightclubs, bars. It was hard at the start, very, very hard, but it got easier. And then I practiced talking to women in public. And through that process, I became more confident, more relaxed. And then I started to go on dates. Eventually I got a girlfriend. But it wasn't over then. So I faced my fear of the weightlifting gym, the boxing gym, my fear of talking to women, my fear of asking them out, my fear of going on dates. It was a huge fear for me. I was petrified. I remember my first date with a girl, guys. I couldn't look at her in the eye. I couldn't look at her. I was struggling to get my words out. She was nice. She understood. I was embarrassed. I was uncomfortable. I didn't know where to sit. I didn't know how to stand. I went through all that. It was worth it. So back to what Sam was saying about the embarrassment. It's not nice, but if you can go through it and grow through it, you will be thankful for going through those moments when you get to a great place, which all of you will. So after that, it was like, that's amazing. Well, the progress that you're making, Chris, if you keep going, sky's the limit. Happy New Year to you, Benny, to everyone. So I knew I had other fears. So now I'd conquered the fear of the gyms, the boxing, talking to women, going on dates. You know, it was a lot more to go. My next fear was, and it really terrified me, was starting my own business and becoming a teacher. And I knew that entailed my fears of money, my fears of business meetings, public speaking, going on YouTube. I don't think I was as scared to go on YouTube, but the other is I was terrified, you know, of coaching people because of all of my insecurities and my voices and, you know, growing up poor and not feeling good enough for a certain period and having to meet new people, the pressure, terrified. So I did it. And it wasn't comfortable at all, but it got easier and I loved it. And I met mostly nice people and I helped them. Now I started to help them to build their confidence because I was doing it myself. And then I did public speaking, as I said, and then I had the courage to quit my office job and take a risk despite, you know, everyone around me telling me that I can't do it, I'm not good enough, it's not a good idea, it's not safe, all that stuff. I started doing it. Now, when I first started teaching, I taught for free. I did it because I loved it. I taught for free for the first 6 months to a year. I didn't charge. I did it for free to help people, to get my confidence up, to establish my expertise. And then people started to offer me and pay me, and then I turned it into a business. So, you know, one step at a time. So if I just stop you for a second, when you hear my journey, I started off as a young man who was afraid to come out of his house and go and buy milk or bread because I was scared of people. I was scared of interactions, social interaction. I went from that guy to 3-4 years later, a guy that built a successful business and was coaching people all around the world, you know, and doing group programs. So that's why I say anything's possible. And some of you might be surprised to know this, even at that level, and even today, even to this day right now, I still suffer with anxiety, but I have a different relationship with it. I'm not ashamed of it. I don't let it stop me. I don't care about what other people think, what they think about me, what they say about me, because I'm living my purpose. The only thing I'm concerned about is helping people, facing the truth, learning, growing, and continuing to face it and tell my story and teach and enjoy my life. That's all that matters to me and my family, obviously, and my faith in God. And you know, and the little things, having a coffee, going to the gym. Anyway, so it still wasn't over. Even despite being a successful business leader and a teacher, I still had other social fears. I had a fear of traveling. I had a fear of going to restaurants on my own. I had a fear of five-star hotels. I had a fear of going on podcast shows and being interviewed. I had a fear of I had a fear of upsetting my parents, you know, of them not liking what I'm doing, disappointing them. I had so many other fears that started to surface, and I continued to face them. So what I'd done was, with the fears of going to a restaurant on my own, because I could go to a restaurant with my girlfriend, I could go to a restaurant with my friends, but alone I couldn't do it because it brought up my stuff from the past. It brought up those feelings of uncomfortableness. So I started to practice going to restaurants. I went to all the Chinese restaurants in central London, in Chinatown. I went to Nando's, and I went to coffee shops, and I became confident by going through the discomfort, by sitting in the suffering. And what I mean by sitting in the suffering is sitting in a restaurant when you feel nervous, when you feel paranoid, when you have all these emotions that come up that are not pleasant. I sat in it. And the more I sat in it, the more I practiced it, the more these feelings, all this anxiety started to turn into confidence. And then I just felt on top of the world. Then I would push myself, face the next fear, start to speak to the waiters. Whoever was serving me, I would speak to them a little bit more. Instead of just saying, thank you, and looking down and not making eye contact, I'd make eye contact and say like, hi, thank you, like, how was your day? How are you feeling? You know, a little bit of small talk. So I started to extend my social interactions and conversations in situations where I used to just shut down and not say anything, you know, and be so afraid shutting down. So I did that. Then I went into, with a friend I met, I did it with him and I did it on my own. I went into all the top hotels in London, all the expensive ones, all the famous ones, you know, Cafe Royale, the Corinthia, the Bulgari, Lanes, all the hotels, all the top hotels in London, the Ritz, all of them, the Strand. I went into these places on my own, sat down, had a coffee, practiced the teaching, beautiful, and became confident, comfortable, and relaxed in these situations through exposure, through doing it week in, week out. I practiced for 3 years. So that's why I say to anyone who follows my channel, my story, you've got to dedicate your life to this if you want to be successful. You can't beat this stuff. You can't get to where you want to get to by doing it when you feel like it. Because if you do it when you feel like it, you're going to do it 2 times a year. There's lots of times where you don't feel like it. So that was what I did. Then I slowly went on to one of my biggest fears, which was traveling with a friend. I met a friend, and he invited me to do a trip, and I came with him, and we went to Prague. I had an amazing time. Got on a plane, went to Prague for 4 days, and 2 weeks later went to Poland, faced that fear of traveling. Obviously, then recently, I faced the fear of traveling on my own. I went to Germany twice. So I live what I teach. I know this works, and I know that anyone can do it. No matter how anxious they are, no matter how fearful, how depressed, they can do it. It's mind over emotions. Yeah, and that's a huge part, Frank, of what I've learned on my journey. I'm still learning every day. I learned that this morning. You have to take action when you don't feel like it. When I woke up this morning, I woke up with anxiety in my stomach. I felt nervous. I felt intimidated. I felt afraid of life. I went to the toilet. I brushed my teeth. I got out of bed early, put some clean clothes on, got on the phone, sorted out my tax, felt better about myself. Then I left, I closed the deal, I went to the gym, I coached a client. I feel amazing today. Do you know why I feel amazing? Because I faced it. I faced the truth, which is doing it when you don't feel like it, when you feel, however you feel. And most of the time, it's human nature. When do people ever feel like facing fear? Most of the time, never. When do you ever feel like being uncomfortable? Never. You know, it's human nature. We want to be comfortable. We want to be safe. We want to be secure. But the danger and the consequences of that are a miserable life. I'm going to be straight. I can't do any other way. That's me. If you stay in your comfort zone for a long period of time, you're going to get suicidal thoughts. It's obvious. It's a no-brainer. You're going to be depressed. You're not going to like yourself. You're not going to like your life. So, of course, there is a time to be comfortable. Of course, like Arnold Schwarzenegger said, we have 8 hours to sleep. You're comfortable when you have a sleep, you know? So it's not like you got to live every single hour in terror and fear and discomfort, but you've got to do at least a couple of hours a day if you want to live the best life you can. Yeah. So, what really got me happy and excited, and it still does today. I still have the burning desire. When I really figured out how to break this curse that was on me for many years, which I honestly believe it's an ancestry curse, it's a universal curse, and that's the demons of anxiety. When I broke this and found what I was looking for my whole life, I was like, I can't wait to teach this because I know anyone can do it because I done it, and I'm a normal person. I grew up in a council estate. I didn't get great education at school because I didn't enjoy school. I was put down. I was judged. I was stereotyped, and I'd done it. I didn't listen to it. All these people are wrong. They're ignorant. Most of them, and I appreciate them judging me. Now I forgive them because of where I am. If they didn't do that, I wouldn't have been inspired and motivated. And I knew other people can do it. I know what people can do once they get motivated. Once they make a commitment to change their life, they can do it. We're all human. Yeah, we're all human. We have different job titles. We grow up different. We all take it. We all take a shit and a piss. We all want to be loved. We all want to be accepted. We're not that different. We all have something in common. We're human beings. So I know if I can do it, and that's what gave me so much confidence with what I teach. That's why I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% confident of what I teach. I'm 150% confident. I know it works. It's been working for over 10 years. That's why I attract great clients from all around the world. People travel the world to come and work with me. And I don't say that to be big-headed or arrogant. I say that because it's true, and I want to inspire people and show them what they can do if they want. And because I'm grateful to achieve that. But I had to go through suffering to get there. Not many people would be willing to go through what I've gone through to have what I have and be where I am. But many people would be willing to go through that to have the life that they want and to be successful and be happy. And I do agree with Tyson Fury. I agree with what he said the other day. It was beautiful. I've said it before. I felt it before. And he was right. He said, you know what the definition of success is? It's not about how much money you got, how many followers you have, the clothes, the car, the watches. That's okay, but that's not that important. It's about the challenges that you overcome. And I said, he's right because he's faced the truth. He understands. He's been through it. So my real success is that I was able to overcome the fear by facing it continuously and build confidence and get out of this place of hell and despair and agony and anxiety and panic and change my relationship with anxiety, because anxiety can become your best friend or your worst enemy depending on how you relate to it. No, no, they won't, Sam. Books will not help you. I've said that before. They're not. The only thing that's going to help you is by you facing your anxiety in real life. Books won't help to do that. They won't do that. It just won't. But like I say before, at the end of the day, everyone's going to do what they think's best for them, which is great. So it's not like it's irrelevant whether people agree with me or not, because I know this is true. I know it works. It's people's choice what they're going to go and do. So if you feel that books help you, then by all means, you're going to read books. Do what you do. Do what feels right. But I can only tell you from my experience that reading books didn't help me. It didn't help me to build confidence. It didn't help me to get over anxiety or social anxiety. It actually made it worse, because whilst I was reading the book, I weren't facing the problem. Yeah. But listen, you know what? I'm not even going to get into it. It's fine. I don't mind. People got their opinion, and that's fine. And we'll leave it as that. But yeah, books. Whenever people ask me what books you recommend for social anxiety, I say no book. The the real thing, if there's any book, it's the book of your own heart. You've got to follow your own heart and you've got to go out and face it. The reason why a lot of people want to read the books, because they're trying to find an anecdote. They're trying to find some technique that's going to take away the feelings of discomfort, and it doesn't exist. Do you know what, right? If you are enjoying this live stream and you're getting a lot of value from it and it's helping you a lot, hit that like button, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel. You know, I do this full time. I love what I do, and I'm confident that if you take even a bit of my advice and apply it, your life is going to get better. You're going to gain more confidence. Now, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the spiritual side of this, because it is important, and I speak to a lot of clients about this, and it can't be neglected. Now, this is where we talk about facing the emotions. There are certain fears that you can face, and they're quite difficult, but they're quite manageable and they're quite easy, and you don't have to face your emotions that much. But there are certain fears where you do have to confront more of your emotions, and one of the ways that you can do that I've done it, and it's quite deep, is you got to find your purpose in life. You got to have a purpose. Now, a lot of you might be in a situation when you say, well, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't have one. That's fine. That's a good starting point. As my mentor Jeff would say, if you don't have a purpose, and if you don't know what your purpose is in life, then that's your purpose to start with. That can be your temporary purpose. My purpose is to figure out, what is my purpose? Now, if you don't understand that word, I'll make it more simple. You need to have a passion in life. Because if you haven't got a passion in life, then you're waking up in the morning and you don't have a motivation. You don't have a focus. You don't have a goal. You haven't got a reason to want to get out of bed. So it's not about what he thinks, what she thinks, what they think. It's what's important to you. Everyone's purpose is different. I know for a fact, I know from my life experience, that every single man and woman has a purpose in life. They have something that they're very good at. They have something that they would enjoy, that they would love. But the question is, do they have the courage to face their fear, to live their purpose? Because I was terrified to live my purpose many years ago. I was petrified. That's why I used to get suicidal thoughts. That's why I had all these self-sabotaging conversations that would say, kill yourself, or stay in this job that you don't like, or just stay at home, don't meet people, avoid money, avoid dates, avoid everything. I was afraid of it. I was afraid of being successful. I was afraid of how that would feel. I was afraid of changing. I was afraid of being happy. I was afraid of being exposed, of being out there, of helping. I was afraid of all these things. Terrified, petrified to my boots, shaking to my boots. And it's funny, because when I started living my purpose, although it was overwhelming and scary, it was so beautiful, so rewarding. And it got easier, and I became less terrified. Now, where I am now, I know this will help a lot of you at different stages of your life. I am terrified to not live my purpose. I can't do it. My heart won't let me do it. My spirit won't. I am so afraid of not living my purpose, because I know what comes with that. Awful depression, suicidal thoughts, not wanting to live, feeling horrible, not feeling good enough. That's the consequences. So it's good to know the dangers. I'm glad that I know that, and I like to educate people and make them aware. Now, and I know it's quite a tough subject, but I'm not scared to speak about it, because so many men commit suicide because they don't know how to get the help and open up. And I could have been one of them. I could have easily, lucky I didn't, but it wouldn't have been a surprise if I could have committed suicide in my 20s because of what I was going through. And I didn't have the courage that I've got now to reach out and ask for help. I didn't know I could change. I was so frightened. So I know that my work, I know indirectly or directly, it will help a lot of men to not commit suicide. It will give them hope. It will make them understand that they're not the only one that feels the way they're feeling and going through what they're going through, but they'll also know that they can overcome it. They can turn it around. They really can. Tyson Fury's done it. I've done it. Many people have done it. It doesn't have to be A-list celebrities or or world champion boxers. Many people have. I guarantee some of you have done it. I know you have. People email me saying, you know, your videos stopped me committing suicide or feeling that way. They helped me to get a relationship, be happy. So it's worth it if you're willing to go through the inevitable positive suffering. And the suffering is always about facing these emotions and working through them. And they don't last forever. They do eventually pass. And, you know, negative emotions, if they're faced and processed and channeled in a positive way, they will eventually transform into positive emotions. Everything negative will, if you process it and use it in the right way, which is why I put out the videos of me hitting the punch bag and boxing, because that's one of the best, I'm not saying it's one of the best tools out there for building confidence, self-esteem, managing paranoia or suicidal thoughts or any sort of mental health problem. It's one of the best out there. Exercise, weights, boxing, it is just life-changing. By the way, guys, feel free to add your thoughts, your feelings, or any questions. I always like it in the chat, or please do share the progress that you're making. It really does make me happy when I see that people are growing. You're welcome, man. I appreciate it. And that's one of the great things about this. See, this is what I want to explain to people. I hear it all the time, and I understand. I've been there myself. People say, I want to change, but I'm scared about what people think. I want to change my job. Or I want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want to travel. I want to be myself. I want to be more kind. I want to do all these things, but, you know, what are people going to think about me? And what I've realized is, if you follow your heart and you follow the advice I'm giving you, you will meet so many nice people. That's why I got the support of you guys. That's why you appreciate me and I appreciate you, because I had the courage to stand up to fear and to speak out and to do these things I'm saying. And you always attract, you know, you do attract. There's hate, there's criticism, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it to go through that, to meet the nice people. It makes life worth living when you inspire people, when you can speak. It's having a conversation with like-minded people who appreciate one another. You can't beat that. You can't put a price on that. That's amazing. You're going to love it, Frank, man. You've done it before, right? You'll love it. Well, do you know what, Sam? Remember I done that video for you? I think you watched it, right? When I explained that, but I'll go through it again. And Sam asked a question, and it's an important one, because I went through that as well. Everyone does. It's like, how do I improve my social skills and not just give people one-word answers? And it's number one, you gotta want to improve, which you do. But I don't know how bad you want it, Sam. I really want to help you. I'm not putting you on the spot. I don't know how hungry you are. Let me know in the box below. How much do you want it? How are you committed? Yeah, and it's because if you're not committed, then the fear is going to take you over. So first of all, you got to have the desire. You know, you got to want to be better with people. Great, you are. So okay, well, you got to start practicing, and you got to be aware. Okay, I'm in a social situation now. I have an opportunity. I'm in Starbucks. I'm ordering my coffee. The person's serving me. I have a choice now in this moment. I could just say, yeah, thanks for the coffee. Here's the money, and walk out. Or I could say a little bit more than I usually would, make progress, which would be amazing. I could just add on, thanks for the coffee, I appreciate it. By the way, have a good day. Just add on a little bit more to what you'd usually say, and you'll get a bit more comfortable, a bit more confident, and you'll build on that. So basically, to summarize it, you've got to speak more, practicing speaking more. The reason why I'm so confident at speaking, and I don't run out of things to say, and I can do these live streams. I've been speaking now for almost 15 minutes because I've done the things that I'm asking you to do, Sam. I went through the embarrassment. I went through thousands of social situations where I would stutter and get awkward. I didn't give up, and I'd get a little bit better each time. And you know, one of my clients, Philip, who's just unbelievable. He's unbelievable to work with, what he's achieved. That's how he done it. When I first met him, he was nervous. I'm sure he'll tell you himself. He started his own business now, and he just kept working at it and working at it. And he's fantastic. The confidence that he's built, his social skills is fantastic. So anyone can do it, but you've got to put the work in. You've got to be willing. So it's one step at a time. Break it down. You know, when you're nervous and you don't know what to say, break it down into small steps. You know, how are you? You know, where are you from? What's your name? You know, just learn the basic social skills. You know, practice being honest. Practice having empathy when you talk to people, and it will get easier. You know, and you'll connect better with people. So it's one step at a time. And I'm not putting pressure on you, Sam. I'm trying to help you out, and it's not just for Sam on this channel, for anyone. I do free events. They're free. They don't cost any money. And and you can meet me in person. You can meet like-minded people and practice talking. And I understand it. If you can't do it at the moment, then that's fine. Just practice what I said in your everyday social interactions. Just say a little bit more than you usually would, and then you'll get a bit more confident to say a bit more the next time. Yeah, I think these are some of the biggest challenges that people face. I appreciate it, man. Some of the biggest challenges. These are the challenges. You know, what will people think of me if I get awkward in front of them? Well, the real truth is, you know what? When you get down to it, it's not a crime to be awkward in front of someone, and they've been awkward at some point in their life. So remember that. You're not the only one. And I remembered that one day, I had a realization, because I used to be so afraid and insensitive to, oh, what if I get awkward in front of people? Whereas now, of course, it's I prefer not to get awkward, but if I do get awkward, I can move on from it, forgive myself and not beat myself up because of experience, and just say it's not really important in life. You know, it doesn't make you a bad person, and they've got awkward as well. So none of us are perfect. We're not. No one is confident in every situation, in every second of every hour. That's not possible. It's not plausible. But that's not an excuse to not continue to improve. So it's really about understanding that everyone has been there at some point. But it's also about focusing on a forward-thinking mindset. How can I be better next time? So this is a practice you guys can try. It works great for me and my clients. If I get awkward in a social situation and it makes me feel ashamed or any sort of negative emotion, I make a note of it and I say, okay, I'm a bit disappointed. I know I could do better than that. Next time I'm going to be better. I'm going to control myself more and relax more and accept myself and be more confident and express myself. And I'll do that. I'll be in a situation again and I'll do a bit better and I'll be proud of myself. And that's a wonderful feeling. And it's the same thing that I learned down the boxing gym. And you know, I know that everybody has this, boxers included, with the sparring. I remember doing the sparring and getting outboxed and beaten up and feeling awful about myself, coming out the ring thinking, I feel terrible. I've just had that loser feeling. But then, you know, the next week I'd go back into the sparring. I've got a bit more experience and I wouldn't be as nervous and I would do good. And I'd be, I feel so good, because I go, wow, I didn't know I could turn that around. Because when you do bad in life, when you get awkward or when you don't perform well, you know, it's so easy to feel like, oh, I'm a failure forever. It's never going to change for me. I'm always going to be nervous. I'm always going to, but you're not. It's not true. Not if you keep practicing. It's impossible. You cannot keep practicing something and get worse in most cases. You can't. Even a fool. You get better the more you do it. So it's that mindset. It's having that understanding in regards to, you know, how do I deal with disappointment in social situations? How do I come back from it? By not quitting, by having that warrior's mentality, by wanting it more than, you know, like the guy says, the motivational guy, you know, when you want to be successful more than you can breathe, you're going to be successful. So you need to have the passion and the commitment. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I can't give you commitment. I can't give you that. You have to find that in yourself. So that's why I say I only work with clients on my high ticket coaching who are committed. If they're not committed, I can't help them. I can't work with them. I won't be able to help them. Yeah, that's great. You know, Abdullah says I'm moving out of your parents' place.
he feels that moving out will increase his confidence. I totally agree. I think it's a wonderful thing to live with your parents. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's a lot of benefits. It's nice to spend time, but I do think that at some point, it'll make a man of you, help you grow up, and it will give you confidence. In regards to your question, Yusuf, about the bad idea that um, that I'm not confident and people are better than me. Yeah, that comes with fear, and the way that you eradicate that is you have to stop focusing on other people, focus on you. You will never win in life if as soon as you compare yourself to other people, you're taking your power away. So it's not, Yusuf. You don't compare yourself to me. You don't compare yourself to a celebrity. You compare yourself to you and how you can improve the next day, and that's how you win. That's how everyone can win. And really, it comes up down to managing jealousy. Because I had the same issue when I started Yusuf. I was jealous of other people that were better than me because I was insecure, and I would compare myself, and it would make me feel so depressed. But as I started to build confidence, I became less jealous of other people because the self-esteem makes you feel good about yourself, and then you don't have that jealousy or resentment or animosity or feelings that I'm down here, they're up above me. No. Then you come back to a better truth. I'm going a bit deep here, which is no one's better than anyone. Even though we live in a society that likes to play that game, but I don't buy that bullshit. No one's better than anyone. No one is above me or above you, so no one is below you. Of course, we do live in a society that has these rules. You don't have to buy into it. So you overcome this by focusing on you, the progress that you make. Can you be better tomorrow than you are today? And if you can be, and you keep improving you and appreciating you, you won't worry about what other people think, because you'll be confident, and you will you will get to a point where you won't think like that no more. But to get to that point, you got to work at it and work hard. I'm just going to get a little bit of water, guys, and come back. Give you time to ask me any questions. It won't be long. Frank as well says this year I plan to move out. Well, actually, on the topic of that, it's great that you guys are saying it, because that was one of my huge fears as well, of moving out of my parents. I did it several times, and when I go back to my story, and I met my first serious girlfriend, she encouraged me because we were dating, but I was living at my parents. I just started my business, and I wasn't making that much money at the start. And I was living at my parents. I believe I was about 27 years of age at that time. And she was renting a place, and I had to face that fear. And I eventually improved my income in my business, and I faced that fear. Actually, I moved out of my parents when I was in my early 20s, but I ended up coming back there, after going through challenges. So I've done it several times. It's not as bad as you think. It really isn't. Especially, and I'm sure most of you have, if you've got a supportive family and they're understanding. I know for my family, they were like, you can move out, but if you struggle, you can always come back. And it's always nice to know that. It's always nice to know that if it doesn't work out, or if you have financial challenges, or you feel lonely, then you can always come back. But it is good to stick it out and grow it. It really does. It really does make you more confident. There's no question of a doubt. But obviously, we've got to sort of judge this on every individual merit, and everyone's in different places. But yeah, moving out was a big fear for me as well, and doing it really changed my life. So there's that fear as well. Again, if you're enjoying this stream and you're getting a lot out of it, hit that like button. It wouldn't cost you any money,
and you burn a couple of calories when you hit that like button, and I'm sure it'll put a smile on your face. And subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend if they're interested. Obviously, don't tell them if they're not open-minded and they don't want to improve and face their fears, because they're not open to it, and that's totally fine. But if they are open and they do want to better themselves and be more confident, tell them about my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, there's just so much that you can do to improve the situation. And if you are just come on the live stream, I'll just backtrack a bit. You know, the first step for anyone that wants to improve their anxiety and turn it into confidence is the courage to admit that you've got the anxiety in the first place. Yeah, see, I told you it works, Bobby, man. I mean, I've been telling people for years, but they don't believe me, man. Reaching over and hitting that like button, it burns a few calories. So admitting it is empowering, you know, it really is. That vulnerability, that strength to say, you know, I'm afraid, but I'm going to call it out. Yeah, I have anxiety, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I have insecurities. That is a great foundation to build on. And I know it works, because I've done it so many times, and I always feel better when I say I'm afraid of this. Now, of course, it doesn't end there. That's not the whole mountain. That's the start. At some point, you've got to face the fear, because if you just say I'm scared, it's like, okay, that's great. Well done for being honest about it. But now what? At some point, you've got to face the fear, because you're just going to be scared, depressed, have no confidence, be naive, not be very conscious. You're not going to fulfill your potential, and you're just going to be stuck. So you need action as well. But like I said, it's a great starting point. And I honestly know, I don't just believe, that if more men and women, just people, whoever's struggling with anxiety or mental health, if they can just have the space and tell someone that is trustworthy and cares and call it out, it will help them. And it's always helped me, always. And that's why on this channel, one of the practices that I do, and I think it's a practice of self-love and appreciation. Most times, if I feel it's appropriate, I call out my fears. I'm still facing fear, even though I'm a teacher, I'm an expert at what I do. I don't care what anybody thinks, it feels great. So if I have any new fears, usually you guys notice I make a video, I talk about it, I expose it, I overcome it. And that's part of my teaching. That's the way that I've always taught. It's one of the ways that I've taught, is by going out and humbling myself, and same as everybody else, and saying, I'm scared of this, but I went and faced it, you know? And that's how you become better and stronger. And believe it or not, maybe it might be, I don't know if it's the right word, counterintuitive. It might not make logical sense. This is one of the ways you get over caring about what people think. Because a lot of people are afraid that people are going to know their insecurities and their fears. But if I tell everyone, then what could they already know? I'm not afraid that they're gonna find out about me. Well, I'll tell everyone. I'll tell them. And then you get past it. And when you face it, you don't care what they think. Why would you care what someone thought about you if you've admitted a fear, even if they judge you for it, and then you've overcome it? You feel so good that you've overcome it. And that feel-good factor alleviates, it eradicates the pain and the anxiety of them criticizing you. You don't care what they think. It doesn't matter to you. And even at a higher level, when someone is critical or judgmental of a person who has a fear and has admitted it, it's a projection of their own fears. It's because they got their fears too. They got their issues. And if they're judging other people in a nasty way or laughing at them, then it's because they're insecure. And all you can do for them is pray for them and just say, look, I wish you the best of luck, but you're not going to get anywhere in life like that, because we've all tried that, and you don't run into happiness like that. You just get depressed and miserable and resentful. So it is really, really important. It's empowering. And I know for me, I've had enough male friends and clients over the years, and spoke to you. Some of the best conversations that I've witnessed online and I've had with my clients and my friends have come from admitting our fears, and then we don't feel judged, and then we can be ourselves. We can be free. We don't have to be worrying about what does the other person think about me, or I can't be myself, or I'm ashamed, or what if they. It's liberating. It really is. I honestly think society and schools and businesses, it should be practiced more,
people could move forward and improve by being allowed to admit that they have fears and then working through them and then overcoming them. So it's not about being a victim. It's not about saying, I'm scared, feel sorry for me. No, it's the complete opposite. It's about taking responsibility and being accountable and being a strong person and facing the truth. And that's honourable. Now, I would never feel judge someone or disrespect them or look down on them because they're vulnerable. But I respect them straight away. It's a sign of great character and strength to admit it and to face it. It takes you to another level. So that's a really good practice. I'm also going to say this as well. This is important. It's not always easy, but you've got to be patient as well, because we've all got fears. I've got them, and where we've got certain fears that are so terrifying that we are not able to face them yet, and that's fine. I was working with a client today, coaching him, many clients, and I say, look, there's going to be certain fears that you've got right now, and it's okay. You won't be able to face them right now. You're not going to be able to find the courage. It's too overwhelming. Don't judge yourself. Make a note of it, write it down, set the goal, be excited that you are eventually going to overcome it. You know, my fear of traveling, it took me 15 to 20 years to overcome it. That's how frightened I was of it. It was unconscious. I was putting it off. I was rationalizing it. I was denying it. I was avoiding it. But I got there in the end. I don't judge myself for it. I'm proud of myself for doing it and getting there eventually. And there are certain other fears that you can face today. So the fears that you can't face today, make a note of them, come back to them when you feel ready, and take on the other fears which are scary but more manageable and that you are able to face. Yeah, you know, turn everything into a positive. Turn fear into excitement. Make anxiety your best friend as opposed to your worst enemy. Stop caring about what people think. Start to care about what you think. Don't be jealous of other people. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Compare yourself to who you are today and how and who you are the next day. Work on not judging yourself. No, I didn't get it. No, it wasn't for me. To answer your question, the answer is no. So yeah, you know, work on focus on you. Another thing that holds so many people back. I've worked with so many clients over the years who've got so much talent, and they could be living their dreams more. But what's holding them back is that they are paralyzed. They're literally paralyzed, I understand, by the opinions of other people. So other people control their finances, other people control their love life, other people control where they live, because they care so much about what other people think that they don't go and live their dreams. And I understand that. And it's not like, it might not be literal. I'm not saying that someone is, you know, controlling their bank account, but they are allowing the perception of what another person thinks about them, and that's why they're not living their dreams. So it's, you know, it's also having this understanding, and this understanding that I developed, this intelligence, this awareness on all the topics we're talking about today, which is anxiety, which is confidence, success, purpose, getting over challenges. I didn't get this through reading books. This did not come from books that I read. This come from living it in real life, failing, falling over, you know, getting rejected, going through depression, going through anxiety, but coming out the other side, succeeding, being successful, being around other successful people, helping people, making money, traveling, boxing, really, really facing it in real life. So many benefits. I'm excited for you guys, because when you guys continue to do this and work on your fears more, you're gonna access the intelligence that is in you. And most people associate intelligence in terms of academic intelligence. I'm not talking about that.
I'm talking about a high level of intelligence, human intelligence. So it's not about how many books you read. It's not about how much words that you memorize and you paraphrase, or all these sorts of ways of intellectualizing knowledge. It's about awareness. It's about the truth in your own heart that reveals to you personally through action, through taking action. So I've said it before. Most people won't get this in society. That's fine. I know it's true. Facing fear makes you more intelligent. It does. It makes you more intelligent 100%. Every person I've met in my life on this journey, this amazing journey, who has faced a lot of fear, are highly intelligent people. They are highly intuitive. They're smart. I'm not saying that people that read books are not intelligent. I didn't say it. But we're talking about two different types of intelligence. You have book intelligence. You have academic intelligence, which is, of course, a level of intelligence. And it is a skill to be admired. But I'm all about awareness. Spiritual intelligence, through facing things, through facing life, anxiety, through challenging yourself, through challenging your negative perceptions of yourself and the world. That's what takes you to another level. And of course, if you want to become more intelligent, then you're going to get a mentor. You've got to work with people that are more intelligent than you, that can take you to a higher level. That's how I became more intelligent. I worked with great teachers. I invested my money. I met them. I asked them to help me, to tell me the truth about where I'm struggling, how I can improve it. I followed them. I learned from many different good teachers, boxing trainers, Les Brown, so many people, many clients that I work with that are very intelligent. So, it's so good to see you, Kamina, man. How you doing, mate? I appreciate you, man. It's lovely to see you. How are you, man? It's great to catch you up in the live, man. I always appreciated you, and I loved working with you. And it's great to see you, man. Really enjoyed it. I enjoyed our time that we had. So this is one of the rewards that you get. Now, some of you might be asking yourself, which is a good question, what's so impressive about intelligence, awareness? Like, what's that going to give me? It's going to give you a lot. If you're more intelligent, you can be a better person. You can make more money. That's great, man. I'm glad that you're doing great, man. You always had a lot of ability, so you can just achieve a lot more. And then you know what's crazy? When you face fear consistently, you become more intelligent. Then you can write a book. I could write a book now. I could easily write a book because I have so much experience and knowledge from my experiences, my failures, my successes, my challenges, my insecurities, the people that I've met, the clients that I've worked with, running a business, moving out of my parents. I could document that in a book, and I'm sure I will at some point when I'm inspired to do it. What's your question, Sam? Well, what's my view on people pleasing? My view on people pleasing is positive and negative. I think a lot of people pleasing, I think it does come from a good place. To a certain degree, it comes from caring about other people's feelings, and that's not a bad thing. But I also think there's a negative part of people pleasing, which can be toxic to yourself. It can destroy you, give you bad mental health. So it's something that you want to improve and get the right balance. Being kind with people, and being respectful. Of course, you want. It's nice to make people happy, but not at the cost of destroying your self-esteem and not being honest. So there's a balance. There's a balance of not being a people pleaser. So yeah, it's getting the balance right, and to answer your question, Freddie, do I recommend that you go for therapy or psychologist because you realize that you've got low self-esteem? Yeah, I'd say go for it. I'd say that I think you should do it based on your question, the way you've said it. I think that's always a smart move to get help. I've said it on this channel before. It's all smart people get help, get mentors. So yeah, psychologist, whoever's right for you, get a teacher, someone that can help you, 100%.
This live stream's amazing today. There's a lot of people on, great energy. Any plans to travel for the new year? Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go with the flow. I have the confidence now to travel because I did it alone. I got over that fear, and I've got the excitement. So there will be some traveling. I have some stuff to do in London, but there definitely will be. I'm gonna do a video soon on this channel, and I'm gonna share my experiences with traveling, explain the fears, the insecurities that I had, and how I overcame them, and how anyone can do it. I love your honesty, man. That's normal. That's normal. Well done for being honest. You know, you said you booked an appointment with a psychologist, but you're afraid, you're ashamed to share your deep thoughts. That's great. That's good honesty. You know, well done for sharing that, and that's how you improve. And that's normal to feel like that. But yeah, you'll improve. You'll make progress with that. It's practice, you know. It takes. You get better over time. I know it's hard at the start because it was hard for me. It was very hard for me to be honest with people and open. I mean, honest about things that insecurities, issues, and things like that. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. And obviously, it's uncomfortable, but the rewards are worth it. Eventually, you get confident. And you know, when I work with my mentor, when I work with Jeff, I felt the same way that you do, mate. I felt exactly the same way, but it was going through it that it helped me to change my life. You know, speaking to someone who cares, who has experience, who will listen to you, who will have compassion, and you know, and who will also be truthful with you and tell you what you need to do to improve. So, probably one of the best things that you can do. Obviously, and you guys know that, it's really important that you find a psychologist or a teacher or a confidence coach, by the way, that you connect with, you know, because there are many teachers out there, psychologists, but not everyone is going to be right for you. You need to find the right connection, but I'm sure that most of you know that. Just want to say as well, right, I'm really grateful because most of the times, well, not all the time, when I do these live streams, I don't think as much about getting clients, right? And I've been getting quite a few clients who are doing my paid coaching, which I really appreciate, because I've been doing these free live streams and they've got so much value from it. And they've trusted me to reach out and work with me, and it's been great for both of us, so I really appreciate it. And I want to share a little tip on a side note, because I always like giving tips on business as I do business coaching. And a big part of getting over social anxiety for me was starting a business and meeting people and all these things. You know, if you give value, if you do a certain amount of things for free in business and you're genuine and you love what you do, you'll always attract business off the back of it. It will just be a consequence. You know, people trust people that are genuine, that give a lot of value for nothing, with no kind of agenda, and they do it. And that's, you know, that's why I work with Jeff, because I saw his free talks on the London Real Show, and I got so much value from it, from his story, and so much help I got from it. I reached out and then did his paid coaching. Well, I did a short video on how to make friends, Freddie. Check out on the channel. I do explain on that, and it is quite a complicated matter, but you can do it. And I would say to anybody out there who wants to make friends and they're struggling, you've got to find a community, and you guys have already done it. So you're on a community now of like-minded people. I'd also say that it's good to go to events in person. You can come to my event, which is free, or you can go to any event. There's a platform called meetup.com. Go to events where, you know, people have the same interests and values that you do, and speak to them, see what happens, and it will happen naturally. Yeah, of course, I'm going to make a video on that soon. Of course, not trusting people does come with having anxiety.
It's a big part of it. So it's good to be aware of that.
And it's good to, because basically building trust with people is also about having the confidence to take a risk. Because there's always a chance we can get hurt. There's always a chance that someone can break our trust. That's just reality. And that scares a lot of people. And that scares me as well. But, like all things in life, there's a certain amount of risk that you've got to take. And the more confidence you build, the less scared you are to give your trust. But there's also intelligence, common sense. If you can sense that you can't trust someone, you're probably right. Then you don't trust them. You don't put yourself in a position to give trust over if you have got a strong, sometimes paranoia can be misleading, but sometimes it can be a saving grace. And if you sense that you can trust someone and you feel it, you're probably right. So that's the way that I go about with trusting people and building that trust, is that if I sense that they're a good person, I trust them. If I sense a strong feeling they're not, then don't give it over. So know that you have the power to give your trust to someone. It's something that you obviously practice over time. It comes with experience. But I will say this, got to be straight here. At some point, we're all going to get our trust broken. It's just life, and it's how we deal with it. It's just part of being human. And I'm sure at some point we're going to break someone's trust. We're not always going to do it intentionally, but we're not perfect. But you try and learn, and you try not to let that happen. And I always practice trying to be trustworthy and not betraying anyone's trust. And these are things that make your character better. But this is a conversation for a separate video, but it is inclusive of what we're talking about today. By the way, just a question: how did you guys enjoy your new year? Did everyone have a good new year? What did you guys do? And how are you feeling about this year? Are you feeling good, optimistic, fearful? What's going on? Let me know if you guys want. I've got to say today as well, the last few weeks, live stream's just been amazing. Questions have been great. The honesty, the courage, you guys are just brilliant with how brave you are, and just great stuff. It's this live stream, this platform will help everyone, and I appreciate that I'm helping you guys, and you guys are also helping me with support, and it's just a great energy. So you do realize that in coming on this platform, you're also helping everybody else. Everybody is helping one another, even if they don't realize it. You are, and that that makes me feel good, and that should make all of you feel good that you're making a difference. And I'm going to do a separate video because I do forget sometimes. It's human nature. One of the best ways to improve your anxiety and your confidence and your self-esteem, and to reduce the jealousy and all these sorts of fears is to help other people when you can, is to be kind. And I keep saying this, you don't have to be a coach to do that. You don't have to give money to help people. Just helping people. There's always, just be kind, or just if you can encourage them, if you can give them any information that can benefit them, I'm telling you, people will love you for it, they'll appreciate you, and you'll love yourself. You'll start to build yourself up, because what most people do is, and I did it when I was in a bad place, I'm not afraid to say it, they put people down. They want to bring people down because it makes them feel better about them being down. So practice that. That's great, man. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I like what you said. You're looking forward to this year. And for you, it's about action in facing your fear and no more reading books. I 100% agree, man. And I'm pretty confident that you're going to do it based on, what you're saying and the kind of commitment that I feel that you're willing to make. Yeah, man. There are lots of people out there, lots of people that will help you on your journey with this. We forget sometimes the amount of people, the amount of people that have helped me, clients,
friends, teachers. So many people have helped me on my journey to be more confident in every area of my life. They've helped me to make money. They've helped me, to build businesses. They've helped me to get fit. They've helped me to lose weight. So many different ways. So sometimes we must not lose sight of that, myself included. But of course, I'm not going to waste too much time going into it today. I've said it on the channel. Many people will pull you down, will judge you, criticize you, and you've got to deal with that. It's not nice, but you've got to take positives from it, and it can be a real motivating factor in your journey to building your confidence and reducing your anxiety, whether it's social life, however it may be. Anybody else want to share what their goal is for this year, what they're working on, what they're excited about? If you guys feel like doing it, go for it. I'm just going to have just 30 seconds just to give myself a rest. This has been brilliant. I've been speaking now non-stop for almost an hour and a half. Absolutely loved it today. Just to let you guys know, I've had some emails. I do have a weekend confidence program coming up on January this month, the 14th and the 15th, and it's for guys that want to overcome social anxiety with talking to women, with honesty, getting a date, just getting more confident with women. If you're interested, let me know. You can apply. I've got several spaces, and it's the 14th and the 15th if you want to do that program. Oh, that's great. That's very good, Benny. Good luck with it, man. I have another event. The weekend program is the paid program, but I've got a free program and event, which is it's next Sunday. It's on the 8th. If you want to come to that, you can come. Just send me an email. And as you guys know, I do one-on-one coaching. I do 1 year program, 6 weeks program, weekend program, 6 months program. I have many programs, so just let me know if you want to work with me. All right. I'm just gonna use the toilet, guys. I'll be 1 second. I'll be back. I appreciate it, guys. We're coming to the end of the stream, but I'm going to give it a few minutes because I know sometimes people have got questions, and I do like to challenge myself when I do these live streams. You see, another side tangent, but when you get to that point where you feel like that's enough is enough, it's sometimes good to practice just going a little bit further. And what that does is, this is something I've been doing lately, guys, and I've probably got inspired by David Goggins to this. It teaches you to be mentally stronger, not to quit when you feel tired or you don't feel like doing things, just to go a little bit extra. So for example, I probably want to stop now at the hour and a half mark. I feel like it's been enough. It's been a great talk. We've had a great chat, a lot of value today, a lot of progress. But I'm willing to do a few more minutes, or maybe I'm gonna get past that mental conversation and do another half an hour. Let's see. But before I do that, I'm going to get a protein bar to get a bit more energy and give you guys we'll give you some more time to ask me any questions or share anything.
is your question? Well, at least Derek Chisora's got the guts to live his dreams and not care what people think. He's made millions of pounds. You know, he's a legend in British boxing, so can't really knock him, really. He's got to respect him. That's the danger, see, that people do today. People like to judge and put people down that's successful, but there's always the ones that are not living it. So you've got to be careful, guys. You've got to be careful. If you want to be successful and you want to be happy, I'm not saying you've got to be perfect, and we're all guilty of being critical and judgmental at times, but you've got to reduce it. It's very easy to judge someone that's more successful than you and point out flaws, but it's not as easy to look at your own flaws and face the fear. Most people can't do what Derek Chisora has done. Derek Chisora has made millions of pounds. He does what he loves. He's fought for the world title twice. He's won a lot of fights. The fans love him. So you can't really knock him, really. If you knock him, you're really putting yourself in a position of being a loser and criticizing someone who's a successful man. And as a family, that's not smart. It's not a smart thing to do. But that's just human nature. You don't take it personal. You know, you're always going to get criticized. People do it to me, it doesn't bother me. Because that's just a knee-jerk reaction. That's unhappiness, resentment. Guys, you know what? I'm not going to get into your criticism and negativity. It's a bit negative. I'll leave you to talk about that. We're going to focus on positives. 100%. Well said. I like that comment. He's in the arena. Always in life. It's always the cowards. It's always the cowards that don't have the courage to get in the arena that are judgmental, nasty, and trolling, because they ain't got the guts. So don't be a coward. Don't be a hater. Be someone who's in the arena, who lives it. If you can't be in the arena, if you don't have the courage to do it, keep your mouth shut. Stop criticizing successful people, because you'll never be successful. If you criticize successful people and you keep doing it, you're never going to be successful. Take this lesson. Even if you don't like me, even if you hate me, that's fine. I love myself, it's fine. You will be successful. This is one of the traits that I've seen in all haters, in all cowards. They continuously attack, and not in person, they ain't got the guts to do it. But successful people, every successful person I've met, every single one of them in person, online, they always say good things about people. They always, because they're happy. They're always lifting people up. So look at the traits of how you behave and look at your life. If your life is miserable, if you're broke financially, spiritually, if you're not happy, if nothing's going your way, stop for a second. Ask yourself, how is my character? How am I talking about people? How was my relationship? And it will tell you. Try it. Well, I did it when I was younger, because I was unhappy, I was resentful, I was jealous. I was always criticized successful people. And that's why I was a loser years ago. I was. When I realized what I was doing and the effects it has on yourself, it's not going to affect successful people. Do you think Derek Chisora cares about what you guys think? He doesn't care. He's a millionaire. He's got a family, he's in love. People love him. He's fought for the world title. How many of you guys have fought for the world title? None of you. How many of you guys have made millions? None of you. How many of you guys have inspired thousands of people? None of you. So think about it. It's stupid. It's not smart. Don't judge successful people. Don't judge brave people when you're not being brave in your life. Unless you want to stay a loser. If you want to be a loser, if you want to be a hater, all the best to you, man. Good luck to you. That's certainly that's not the way that I live my life. And my friends, I don't hang out with people that do that. But I will say it, I mean it. I understand. I understand what it's like when you're in a place of suffering and you're you know, you don't feel good. So what a good practice is, it's not always easy. As a man of faith, is to pray for people that hate on people because they're suffering, they're not in a good place, and pray that they will come out of that place because people were patient with me. So yeah, you know, you can have your opinion, but you don't have to be nasty and critical unless you want to live a life of defeat. So be careful about that. That's very unconscious. That's when people are asleep, when they have no self-awareness, when they're full of hatred, that's what they do. Their ego takes over. They're not aware of what they're doing. And then they wonder why they don't feel good. You're not going to feel good. Try it. See how good you feel. Like my mentor Jeff would say, practice for one day, not saying any bad things about people, not talking about people behind their back, just being kind. See how you feel for one day. Don't be surprised when you feel great. Anyway, it's been a great live stream today. It's really amazing. And that's one of the exciting practices that I tell my clients and friends and I practice. If you're getting criticized, it's a great sign, because no one criticizes you when you're a loser. No one criticizes you when you're not successful. They've got nothing to say. You only get criticized, I mean really badly criticized, when you're happy, you're successful, you're brave, you don't care what people think, you're making a positive impact. It's a knee-jerk reaction, and it's actually a compliment. Yeah. But a good practice, right? This is a good practice for anyone that is addicted to hating and wants to change it. Every time you do it, every time you criticize someone harshly, especially someone that's more successful than you or being a good person or whatever they're doing, it doesn't have to be a boxer. Ask yourself, you know, or at least say to yourself, okay, I've done that. Do I feel good about that? And the answer is going to be no. Next time, when you feel it coming up, the urge to do that, don't do that. That's spiritual practice. That's discipline. To have the emotions, to have the feelings that you want to say hateful things or you want to be critical, but to control yourself and stop yourself from having verbal diarrhea and saying these things, and change it and say, you know what? I was going to criticize that person and I was going to be hateful. Let me look for something good to say. You'll always find good if you look for good in most cases. Anyway, you know what, guys? I really appreciate you coming on the stream today. It was brilliant. I loved it. It was a lot of positive energy, a lot of progress, and that will be it today. We've reached the almost 100 minutes, and I'm going to be doing more live streams, more videos. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the new year, and we continue. All right, have a great one, guys. Appreciate you coming on. Fearless.